Hello, everybody. Happy. There was a lot to talk about. So we will cover whatever we can tonight. And I hope, yeah. And John F. News is going to be on Sunday. Thanks, John. We're going to have an interesting conversation about Jesus. And so I've been wanting to do a show about Jesus and talk about misconceptions and things we get right and things we get wrong. And I thought no one's better to do that than John F. New. So I hope you guys will join us. Pat BWI says, how are you doing? How are you feeling, Kim? I'm feeling fine. You know, I think it's good to speak my truth or yell my truth. And I didn't want to, I didn't want it to seem like I was discouraged at all. I was just angry. I was angry at people being stupid. I don't like when people are stupid. I like when they're smart. But I'm not at all discouraged or anything like that. So I don't want you guys to be. I just think that, Eckhart Tolle says, you add to the pain body if you don't let out your emotions. So I wanted to and I also wanted to, if anyone else is feeling the same way, I wanted to kind of speak for them and hope you could have a secondhand experience. All right. So, So Adam, what do you have? Hello, Adam. Hello, everyone. And I do name checking at the end, which I will do. And yeah, welcome. So Adam's got the questions all ready to go. We had a lot of them, but we're going to get to as many as we can. Thank you, Wintanari. I haven't done anything yet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Prior to the rally, where 20-year-old crooks tried to assassinate Trump, he wrote on Truth Social, all hell will break loose. Why did he say that? Or do you mean Trump wrote?
Sorry, yes. I mean, Trump wrote that
okay.
Truth Social.
Trump wrote, all hell will break loose. What did he mean by that? Okay. So although it seems coordinated, to me, I'm getting gimmick. Like it was a gimmick. It was a gimmick to get people riled up. It was a gimmick to get people to give money. It was to get people to tune in. I feel like it was like a teaser. So I'm not getting like it was like he knew something was it's not coming across like that, but it is coming across like a gimmick or a teaser or, that kind of thing. There have been no medical reports released from the attempted assassination on Saturday. What's the reason? He wasn't shot and it wasn't that bad. I mean, I'm sure it was, scary, but the actual injury and it wasn't a bullet. He wasn't shot. That's what I'm getting. It was I don't know what it was, but he wasn't shot and it was It was very minor. It was not I'm not even getting like he needed like stitches or it's minor. I mean, minor. And so I feel like it's to get people to assume he was shot. I feel like they're gonna try to keep saying that, that he was clipped, that he was shot. He wasn't. That's what I'm getting. That it's because it was the injury was insignificant compared to maybe the scare that it caused. But the injury was insignificant, and they want to keep it out there, keep it quiet, so that people keep saying, "Oh, he was shot. It was so close. He got hurt." Blah blah blah. No, and his war wound, all that would kind of go away. And so, yeah, so it's to build the myth, basically, to lie by, omission. Obsidian Iris, thank you. Will Biden replace Harris with a white male? He didn't name the male. Interesting. Okay, we'll look at that. Not getting that. I'm sorry, I'm not getting that. He may toy with the idea, but he's not. I don't, or go over the what ifs of such a thing, but I'm not getting that. I'm sorry, or not sorry. I like Kamala. I'm happy I'm not getting that, but I'm not getting that.
Are you waiting for the next question?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got a bit confused there.
Okay, that's okay. Entertainment only. Yeah, I don't want to get taken down. Do you get anything from the shooter about why he shot at Trump? Was it personal, political? Did someone urge him to do it? Okay, so let's look at this. And I haven't looked at any of this really. I've kind of I wanted to save it for tonight, just to be just completely open to whatever comes in. So let's see what comes in. Getting the dark web. So I feel like maybe he had a presence on the dark web, or he was looking at the dark web or something. To me, it seems like stuff that we wouldn't normally know about. One second. I'm getting he bought into something, or he was buying into something. Standalone. I just heard standalone. I just got war. And I heard a repetition. So I feel like he's heard something repeated and repeated and repeated. And I know that they talked about the fact he was a loner, but he does feel like he spent an awful lot of time alone with the web. Fantasy. I just heard fantasy. So fantasizing different things, but there's a war element. And they're saying about being convinced about a fall, or a fall, being convinced about a fall. In a way, it's interesting because I feel like these are like, I'm saying all these things. I'll have to go back and watch it because I know I don't remember saying what I said, but it all feels like stuff I don't know about, like things I don't know about. So I think that's why they said the dark web first, because there's stuff that's out there that is people are aware of, but maybe not people like you and I. I'm sure they will figure this out. I'm sure they will get it. Eventually. Eventually. We know how slow they can be.
Well, Kim, that actually, it's interesting that you mentioned the dark web, right? Because I was watching today, they've gone to the usual places. Like, he has no social media footprint as such. Like, normally people who are going to do something like this will like talk with friends about it. They'll like ideate it before they actually do anything. But he didn't. So, I forget who I was watching, but he was sort of a kind of expert on this sort of stuff. And the guy was he used the word disciplined in that there was no radio chatter that they could find. But if it was on the dark web or in like different discords or things like that, it may be kind of more hidden.
Right.
When you said war element, what I thought of and some other people in the chat jumped to was civil war, right? The idea that they want to create a like helter skelter, just the same way as Charlie Manson wanted to between black and white people, but they want to create between north and south, between liberals and conservatives. That if this guy, and you show me Alex Jones on InfoWars back in February saying the best thing that could happen was if this guy got shot, because then that would give us carte blanche to basically do whatever we want. That would be the like Reichstag fire for Hitler,
Right.
There would be a justification to basically get your guns. It's on.
Yeah,
it's scary.
And so like that, I feel like it's stuff that is maybe being thrown around or said or has been said for who knows how, for a long time, who knows, but it's like you and I wouldn't really, it's like we come across it on the on MSNBC or something. It's hidden, it's lower, darker web or whatever, low, out of the,
it's such a fringe conversation discussed by fringe groups.
Yeah,
but
fringe.
It's getting injected into the mainstream through the RNC and through Trump. So, okay.
Yeah. But I am getting like an alone kind of element to, but it's, I keep getting this image of him alone in a dark room, like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling with like information on a computer and just scrolling. So I feel like that's telling me he inundated himself or researched or maybe was obsessed kind of with some of the stuff. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting so far. That's what I'm getting. Do the events on Saturday affect the outcome of the election? I heard no, stand alone. No. It's going to be a standalone event. It's not going to affect it. Will it affect the news cycle for a while? It seems like, yeah. I'm not getting a long-term effect. I'm not getting it. I kind of expected to. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting that at all.
Well, in several polls afterwards, Trump didn't get an assassination bump.
Thank goodness, right? Because we don't want it to become the all the rage. Yeah, no.
But Biden actually enjoyed some improvement. But again, polls at this point, it's too early. You can't put really much stock at all in any poll.
Right.
So many things can happen between then and now. Things like J.D. Vance, asshole, being selected as the VP changes a lot for a lot of people, especially women.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I wanted to remind you also that, my guides have been saying since, I don't know, February, March, something like that, a lot's going to happen. Like the landscape's going to change. Things are not going to look how they look at one point from now until the election, or then it was like February or March to the election, that a lot was going to happen. And it was going to end with the Democrats getting in and taking all three branches. We'll talk about Biden in a minute, but I'm still getting that. I'm not getting anything different. And believe me, I expected to, because it's been a bad week, no doubt. But there's nothing worse than an overconfident Republican Party. Nothing worse for the Republicans, and nothing worse for Trump than an overconfident Trump and an overconfident RNC. That is for sure. Because I feel like they are very confident. They are just sure. And I am not at all. In fact, they're not going to win. So that's what I'm getting. So, yeah. So anyway, we can go on with the questions, but that's just FYI, and just kind of a remember that, since Saturday, the media have seemed to engage with Trump with kid gloves. Oh, tell me about it. I did a video about it where I was raging for 20 minutes. Look at these. Yeah. Tapper, are the media in the tank for Trump? It sure as heck feels that way, but let's find out. I'm not the last word here, so. I'm getting I'm getting like money, like dollar signs, but I'm also getting my sign for addiction, which is interesting. I think there's something about this stuff and the kind of even terrifying but exciting kind of the horse race and and it's getting crazy and kind of chaotic and stuff, but there's something about it that's addictive. Or they're telling me that they're addicted to money. That the addiction is money. It could be that. It's the thing. I have to interpret, right? And you guys can tell me what you think, but I think it could be two separate things. I think it could be money. There's a money aspect here. And then there's also an addictive quality to all of this. that they're kind of buying into and feeding into and wanting more of, even though it's terrifying, right? But we know that from the Fox News model, right, that fear, making people afraid and making people tune in, there's an adrenaline to that. There's a, it's exciting, right? So that's what I'm getting, is kind of a combination of the two. There's a money aspect here, kind of hedging your bets. And there's also this kind of being in the throes of all the excitement and kind of, building that. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Oh my gosh, could this happen? Could this happen? Kind of just the drama queens, basically. They're all drama queens and they're enjoying being drama queens. I've just heard some. So not everybody is feeling this way. So you might see some people in the weeks to come pulling back a lot. So I felt too that, and I felt for ages, since Bush really, that the media really, really wants a normal Republican Party. They really do. They really, really want that. And I think that they just keep trying to some way make all of this normal and all of it they're trying to get some normalcy out of this as well. So there might be some of that as well. Not just people in the throes of, whoa, this is all chaotic and isn't it, it's crazy. There's also people that want so much for it to be two normal parties and just talking about the issues. And they want that again so badly that they're trying to make the Republicans normal, make them seem normal, giving them excuse after excuse after excuse. And it's not going to happen. It's over. It's done. They are what they are, and they're going to implode basically. Because it's not it's not popular. It's not workable. It's not something people want. It's a disaster basically. So it's not going to happen, but yeah, so that's what I'm getting. I money and the addiction to the excitement and the horse race and the whatever, but also this element of wanting to try to make it all seem like it's like they're normal. See, they want love, they want togetherness. See, they're saying this, so trying to bring that in as well.
There was that rare moment when Trump was forced to leave the White House the first time, when he said, "You'll miss me." And specifically, he was talking to the media.
Yes.
And I think there was some truth in that, right? And also the owners of the various media companies are very different from the rank and file. Rank and file tend to be more liberal in a classic sense.
Right.
Whereas the owners tend to have more of a vested interest with things like the goals of Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
They want their tax cuts. And also the two things, ratings, and the excitement and the drama, which equals ratings, is also money, because it means more ad dollars if more eyeballs are watching. I've watched more news. You and I are both. Sometimes you swear off it, but I've watched more news in the last 8 years than I have in the rest of my 42, because to me, it's like having a giant spider in the room. I want to know where it is at all times. I refuse to take my eyes off it, because I may fall asleep and it'll be in my mouth.
Well, that's exactly how I felt. I think a lot of people felt that way when Trump was in office. The horse in the hospital, right? What's the horse done today? Where is he? It's scarier when you don't hear from the horse in the hospital. Yeah, I agree. Yes, indeed. Are the CEOs leading media orgs all believers in Project 2025, or is it just about the green, as Murdoch alluded during the deposition in the polling case? The polling case. Let's look how they really feel about 2025. I'm getting a mix. I feel like there are some true believers, right? There's people that really, really believe it. And, the Clarence Thomases and you think they know best and they're going to turn the clock back and just you watch. There's those. There's others that think that some of these things, if they're enacted properly, it'll be good for business. It's sick. Because it's in the same way that the real estate crisis was good for some. It was clearly not good for most, but there were some that made out like bandits, right? And other people afterwards figured out how to make out like bandits, right? So there's a mixture. There's opportunists, I guess you call them, or kind of opportunists that see an opportunity here. And then there's another swath that really are true believers. So the people that are kind of opportunists think a lot of the culture stuff is ridiculous and that they'll never get away with that. So I think they're excusing that part of it to hopefully make some money out of this. So that's what I'm getting. Not good. Doesn't say a whole lot about these people, but that's what I'm getting. It's kind of two swaths. Yeah. It's been suggested that Peter Thiel, supporting JD Vance, and Elon Musk are interested in pushing crypto under Project 2025, Trump World Vision. Is this just another grift? Well, I mean, that's kind of, yeah. So that's maybe they're in that part of that group that is kind of like, hey, this could be good for business. So let me see about crypto, though, how this fits in. I'm seeing the hammer and sickle. That's Russia, right? The hammer and sickle. Is that Russia? I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing like a cartoon of like money flowing into different banks in different countries and different with crypto. I'm sorry for my ignorance. If we change to crypto, would that make money laundering easier?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, it's one of the main transactions that has occurred with crypto since its inception.
Okay, because I'm getting that there's it almost feels, I mean, I don't want to be conspiracy theory, but it almost feels like worldwide. Like there's a desire for this, and it's like trickling to different countries and different banks, like big banks and stuff. And so I feel like it's kind of all connected to this question that you're asking about, or not you're asking, but they're asking about why, or the possibility that they're wanting to push crypto. I think there's a bigger picture at play, or there's bigger players at play here that are also pushing that or behind it. So I think that's what they're alluding to is this, but I got this feeling of just like, and when it was sifting, I was like, no, that's money laundering. That's what I always get from money laundering. So, yeah, so that's what I'm getting. So I guess the short answer is yes, it's another grift, but it's a big grift. It feels massive. I don't feel like it's going to happen. I don't feel like it's going to happen. I feel like it's a dream. It's the dream of every, every corrupt leader or every corrupt, corrupt entity. But I don't feel like it's going to happen. But I feel like that's what's behind it. So there are a lot of like power behind that and a power behind it. But I don't feel like it's going to happen for some reason. So yeah. Is there a connection between Putin and Theo? Okay, well, I guess I just answered that, right? So yeah, I saw the first thing I saw before this question, the hammer and sickle, right? The Russian, and it's interesting too that, because usually for Russia, I'll see Putin. Usually for Russia, I'll see the Kremlin. It's interesting they use that sign to give me for what this is. And I feel like there's, my guides have a just seconds to give me as much information as possible. And I think using that sign for Russia, it's like it's a heavy, it's like the heavy to me. And so they may be the most behind it, that kind of thing, or they're the driving force. It could be telling me that. Oligarchs, yeah, thank you, Janice. Yeah, it could be that. I also have to say there's kind of a desperate feeling to this. It feels like a last ditch effort or a last effort. So thank you, Anita. It's nice of you. So there may be they may know that this is the last hope of this or the last push for this kind of bigger idea. Because there's a last ditch effort feel or a last chance feel to this.
So I watch a lot of really weird kind of anti-Russian channels because it's the only place I can get real good information on what's happening in Ukraine, where they're actually interviewing people, fighting the war. And one of the things that came up on one of these channels the other day was the idea of Putin being so interested in crypto and supporting it because he's being closed down in so many, 2 years ago, he was basically kicked out of the SWIFT system.
Yes.
This means they can't move money around. They've
got
like $280 billion or however much it is locked up right now. And one of the things the Biden administration or the UN has suggested is using that money, basically taking it to help rebuild Ukraine once this is all over. And so, yeah, the idea of using crypto where it's all visible, but it's also anonymous. You can see where money moves on the blockchain. So you can see everything there. Every single dollar went from this wallet to this wallet. But then who those wallets belong to becomes kind of a detective fiction. There's a guy called CoffeeZilla who you've seen me watch a lot. And that's his whole specialty, is sort of figuring out how these scams are done, because crypto to date has been mostly about scams, paying off, things on the dark web, like the whole Silk Road debacle that happened, which was basically buying assassinations. Oh, interesting. But sex trafficking, everything you can think of that you don't want tracked by the bank, because anything above $10,000 basically gets flagged in a banking system.
Okay. So that completely jives with how it's feeling, because it does feel like this is like a last chance kind of thing. And he's not doing well, right? The war's not doing well. He's not doing well. All of this is a last chance, last ditch effort, right? But that crypto has that same feeling of like this is the last chance or the last try or whatever. Yes. Paulette, cleanser question. Did Matt Gaetz go get Botox? Okay, let's see. This is for entertainment purposes only, but I'm getting a yes. And I'm getting lots of like pampering that way, like skin treatments and filler. And he'll probably, in like 10 years, he'll probably look really, really different. But a lot of things like that, a lot of like pampering. And I've even seen like women. So I'm wondering if he goes to, I don't know, weird places to get weird stuff done or something. I don't want to look into that. I'm like, no, don't show me. But I think it ties into some of the people fussing over him and taking care of him and, pampering him, and that kind of, it feeds into all of that. So there is a lot of treatments, let's just put it that way, that he does.
Did you see the picture of him, by the way?
No.
He looks kind of like
yeah, he does look different.
He looks a little
pulled. Just a little, Matt. You might want to step back a little bit. I'd be so scared to go. I mean, I know Botox is pretty mainstream now, but I'd be scared. I'd be the one person who they're like, oh, it's never happened before. This kind of weird thing that happened. Can you look at the fact that Trump's plane was next to? Oh, I did look at that one before, and I did see communication. So we did have that one before.
Okay. The question just came up again because of the conversation about like crypto and stuff. And
okay, I can look at it again, but all I got was that there was. I'm getting like a go-between as well, some kind of going between, like a person back and forth. So maybe either taking messages or taking stuff or something. I'm getting somebody going between the planes. But yeah, there was definitely communication. How does Nancy Pelosi feel about Biden continuing on as president? Media stories are suggesting she's trying to get him to quit the race. She's worried about the House. There's something about, and a lot of the stuff with Biden stepping down, I'm getting that everybody's kind of looking out for themselves, and they need to stop doing that. They need to start looking at the big picture. I think I do think they care about the big picture. I'm not saying they don't, but it seems very, people are walled off to their own situation, right? So you've got Nancy Pelosi and you've got, I can't think of his name right now, Jeffords. What's the head of the House? What's his name? Hakeem Jeffries. Why does it just go out of my head? Hakeem. Anyway, looking for to save the House, make sure the House is secure. Schiff's looking at his own seat. He gave, he's trying to go for this, get this seat, and he's worried about that. So everybody's kind of worried about their own thing. Jeffries, thank you, Connie B. Their own thing. It doesn't seem like they're looking at like the Democrats together. They're kind of in their own little silos right now. So I feel like they're kind of freaking out. They're worried. They're freaking out, and I don't think any of them like hate Joe Biden or think Joe Biden's the worst. I think they're worried he's dragging down the whole ticket. There's something about, like, he's the albatross. He's not that, but they're looking for something to give them, to let them Bowie a little bit. And I think they think that's the answer. So that's kind of where how I'm being shown this is kind of everybody's looking out for their own thing, their own stuff, their own self, and the country as well. But through that silo, they're not looking at it at just as the big picture and that's it. They're looking at it through, well, we want to make sure the house is secure. We have to make sure the house is secure. It's got to be secure. So, but that's just talking about those kinds of people that are starting to rumble a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Will Biden stay in the race? Many people support Biden, and it seems like the professional political class are most keen to remove him. Okay, so we kind of went through that, how they're kind of they're being a little selfish right now. That's the way it comes across. I like all of these people. I think Nancy Pelosi is brilliant. I think that she's brilliant. But they're all being a little self-serving right now, a little selfish. Yeah. Biden stay in the race. I have to just say what I'm getting right now. I'm seeing him on Inauguration Day. I'm still seeing him winning. I have to see what I'm seeing. So for right now, he's staying in. And my guides are saying if he stays in, he's going to win. That said, there's probably a lot. I think he's right. I think there's probably about 30 people that could beat Trump. I don't think they're as strong as they have seemed this week, or they have made us believe, or the media has made us see them as strong this week. Nothing they want to do is popular. Nothing they want to do is, nobody likes this stuff. I just have to say what I'm getting. I was ready to get whatever whatever came in, but right now I'm seeing him staying in, and I'm seeing if he stays in, he wins. I've told Adam, I feel like when we see these things, I feel like they underestimate the powers that be, or the people that are worried or whatever. The powers that be are underestimate how much people like Biden, how much people like him, how they see him as one of them. He's was in a working class family from Scranton. I think people can identify with that more than a billionaire, failure TV host. I think that's not as relatable. Don't ask me why. It's not as relatable as this is. And I think people like him. I think they're underestimating how much just regular people, working class people, women like him. The African American community, they love him. He's done so much for so many groups of people that haven't gotten anything in a long time, and they recognize it. I think people are a little bit, I think they can be easily led in some ways, and I think they can be a little have short attention spans, but they're not dumb. I don't think they're dumb. I think they're seeing what's going on. Despite what's happening, I'm getting a very optimistic picture, I have to say. So, and we're the ones that decide. They can't decide. We decide. We can decide, and we know there's more of us than them, so we can decide. So that's all we need to do is just go out and do our thing. And yeah, Sparky, I think Project 2025 is going to be a big, big albatross around their neck. It's going to be their Achilles heel. They'll wish they never heard it by the time that they'll wish they will wish they have never heard about it when by the time election day is here. So yeah,
it was interesting. I've become a big fan of the Bulwark, and
Mhm.
this was on Mary Trump's podcast, and she had a couple of people talking, and they were saying, yeah, like people love Biden. It's the nattering classes, it's the professional politicals who are worried, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
about the money, and it's
Yeah.
the money, the big money behind the DNC who have got us into trouble before.
Right.
But like a lot of groups have no doubt about this. And there was I don't know if people have heard the polling that was done on Hispanics who watched the debate, but watched it with subtitles instead of actually, because they needed the Spanish subtitles. And they thought that Biden easily won because of the polls. Because the content was there. It was just form over content, right?
Right.
Trump stands up there and is loud and brash, confident, and lying his ass off.
Right.
And that fools some people. But the people like reading what was actually going on came up with a very negative impression of Trump and a very positive one of Biden, based just on the questions actually getting answered. So
that is so interesting. Yeah. I think he wasn't well, and I think he just had too much to do. I think that it was disgusting that the network just sat there and just literally sat there and just let him lie for 90 minutes. I won't go on about that, but I think he just had too many things. He was unwell. We already talked about that, but also he had to cover trying to correct him with what the lie he just told, plus try to, give them the right information, and then the vision for the future. It's almost like it was just too much to juggle, and it was very, very, very irresponsible and shameful of the network to just let him go on and lie like that. We talked about Jake Tapper was one of the ones who broke the story about, suckers and losers, that whole thing with John Kelly, and he just sat there. He could have said, sir, Mr. President, I broke that story. So we know you're lying about that anyway. It would have taken 2 seconds, but no, they just whatever. Yeah. Does George Clooney regret his comments about Biden as much as his turn? Yeah, we know he's not perfect, right? He was in that Batman movie.
Worst Batman ever.
We know he makes mistakes. Yeah. We know he makes mistakes. Yeah, and that's coming from the Batcave. That review is coming from the Batcaves, just FYI. Okay, so George Clooney regret his comments about. Not really regret. He has enough of an ego that I think he did the right thing, but I think he feels like he's speaking for us. He's speaking for a specific group. I feel like he was pushed a little bit. I don't know if it's other people in Hollywood, or I feel like he was pushed a little bit to do this. So I think he felt a little like, again, kind of like speaking for a group or a certain segment. It's like, I feel like I'll be the voice for this, or I'll be the he's I remember him putting out a big statement when Princess Diana was killed. And he's kind of a drama queen. He kind of likes to be in the mix and kind of likes to be part of stuff and he's political. He's always been very interested in politics and stuff. And I'm not saying he's not sincere about the stuff he gets involved. He does kind of like get his face out there. He kind of like, not like an opportunist, but more like I want to be part of it too, that kind of thing. I want to get into it. So a little bit of ego, or a little bit of look at me, and this is what I have to say, that kind of thing. Which wouldn't be, it would track with him. So.
Well, he's aging, When was the last? He's made some great movies, actually. And,
yeah, he has, absolutely.
Wasn't he meant to have produced the one movie about Jim Jordan? Where's that?
Where is that?
Where's that movie of Jim Jordan and his turning?
The one that disappeared. My sister, she works in the theater when she was working with the theaters, and she was hosting a Sundance thing, and nobody's heard of the. People were outraged after the movie about what's his name on the Supreme Court. I can't think of anybody's name tonight.
Clarence Thomas.
No, the guy who had the sex scandal when he first got in.
Oh yeah,
not Clarence Thomas. That could also be Clarence Thomas.
I like that.
Yeah, there was a movie about Kavanaugh, and it just disappeared. And I guess when it aired in Sundance, the next day there were people at his house demanding that he get out. That's how powerful it was, and it just disappeared. So, and we know these execs, these Hollywood execs, right? They're all in the tank for whatever they're in the tank for. And the Mercers, all those people are up in the film industry. So you can imagine how this stuff, Disney and all, they're all big corporate, mega companies. So it can definitely they can kill things. We know that, but still that was a huge thing. And I kept waiting for it to come out, and it just never did. It just buried it. So, it would be nice to have an October surprise and both those movies come out at the same time, a double feature. Yeah.
And there's the one that Trump one with the guy who was in Winter Soldier and what's his name?
Yeah, I'm dubious about that one. I kind of feel like it might be kind of but he's tough anyway, or whatever. He's a survivor kind of vibe. I don't know. That's just my instinct.
I don't know. I love that actor. We'll see.
Yeah. So we'll see. Eileen Cannon threw out the stolen classified documents case. Smith is appealing. Will Cannon continue to be part of the case? I always saw her getting removed from the case at some point. I didn't know this is the way it would happen, but I always saw her kind of off the case, out of it at some point. Maybe this will do it. So it's, Jack Smith is, he's very smart. He is a very smart guy, and he's a very bold guy. He's not Merrick Garland. He's not. And I feel like he really does feel like this. I'm just getting this now. He really does feel like this is. He's helping to keep the country safe. He really does think this guy is. I think he may have information about he sold stuff for entertainment purposes only. That he sold stuff or he did awful things with the information he had. But I really feel like he feels that he's keeping people safe, that this is about much, much more than just, holding Trump accountable. It's about keeping the country safe from him. So I feel like he will he's going to do this. I always kind of saw it moving as well. So he may move it somewhere or do something. I don't know how they do that. But, and I also saw that kind of like lots of information coming out for everybody to see at some point. Like I said, it looked like a trial or some kind of big display of something that we're all watching and we're all seeing. So that also may happen. But yeah, I feel like she may just be out of it. I also feel like when let me look at her. Let me look at Eileen Cannon just real quick. Yeah, see, do you know that game Hot Potato? I see that with her. It was a hot potato. She didn't really, she knew, I think she knew she had a part to play, but it was, she really didn't enjoy having, she was ready to get rid of it, basically. It's like ready to get off her plate. It's too heated. It's too much. So there's something about this she was not wanting anymore or wanting to release herself from. Even though it seemed like she relished it, she loved it. It feels to me like I get rid of this. And yeah, Paulette, like kind of over her head. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But also that it was too heated. It was people were too ginned up about it. And we know his face is weird. Well, obviously one tried to kill him. So it's they're very hot under the collar, and they're always doing death threats and things like that. So I think she just felt like, I don't want to be in the middle of this anymore. So I think part of it was just like, get this out of here. So I don't think she's going to be part of it anymore. I have always seen her kind of off of it. Can you add in Shelley's question, Adam? I don't know. I can just tell people what it is if you can't put it up.
No,
Thank you,
I've got it next. I'm just
okay. Thank you, Neptune Blue Knight 13.
The person's going to be last.
Okay. Will Eileen Cannon ever be a Supreme Court justice? I know. No. I just heard no. It's like, no. No, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that. And it's a mixture, right? It's events that happen are a mixture of probability mixed with free will, right? There was a probability about, say for example, 9/11. There was a probability happening because of the way we were conducting our foreign policy and the way George Bush was and the way this was. There was a probability of it happening. But had all of the hijackers got up that morning and were like, I'm not doing this, it would have changed everything. So it has to be a hand in hand with probability, the more probable, and free will. The same with the shooting Saturday, right? There was a probability because the rhetoric was so heated all the time, and they were always talking about violent stuff, and they were always ginning the crowd up, and we knew that a lot of these people, they're making death threats and things like that, so they have violent tendencies. But had the shooter got up that day and said, I'm not doing this, or didn't do it, or just didn't want to do it, back down, or decided they didn't want to do it, it would have changed. It would have been different. That probability would still be in place, but the free will factor made it happen, right? So there's always this kind of marrying when it comes to man-made stuff, when it comes to other things that don't have to do with people necessarily, weather and things like that. It's different, but yeah. And so right now, the probability probably is tied with Biden and Trump, but we have that the will of the people, right, to go out and vote, and it can tip the scale. It can tip it over the top, and from what I'm getting, it's going to tip it over the top. So, and so much that they can't steal it, because I think they're going to try. I think they've got mechanisms in place to try, but I don't think they're going to be able to. So, there you go. Last question. Roger Stone and Mike Flynn were saying, oh, this is Shelly's question. Shelly's my hairdresser. She's very into Thursday Night Live. She wants to know. Roger Stone and Mike Flynn were saying that they were going to start doing Black Swan events to get Trump elected. Can you look at this? Yes, I can. And Adam, do you have a definition of what a Black Swan event is?
Yeah, actually, a Black Swan event is a massive sort of unpredicted or unpredictable event, something that just comes out of nowhere that you don't expect. Well, I guess like 9/11 might be a Black Swan event. Mm-hmm. Different stock market crashes have been Black Swan events.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm seeing more now. She had the question within the context of the shooting Saturday, but what I'm getting is more like rioty things, more like do you remember like in Florida in 2000 when they had like all these people showed up and were like, stop the count, that kind of thing, or even like Charlottesville, that kind of stuff. More, to me, it feels more like those kind of events where it's like, why are all these Nazis here today out, whatever, burning a swastika in the middle of the street, kind of like gatherings, and more kind of like rioty kind of stuff, people getting loud and people like intimidation, that kind of thing. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel so much like intricately planned, like, mastermindy kind of stuff. It feels obvious. Like it's like it wouldn't take a genius to do it, basically. It seems like that. So that's what I'm picking up, rather than these, really like mastermindy kind of plots. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like just people showing up and, whatever, screaming Trump, Trump, Trump in the middle of whatever, Times Square or something. It doesn't seem like it seems more group-ish and like events kind of thing. Can we
coin the term flash mobs for assholes? Like that's what they're really trying to do, right?
Flash ass mobs.
I need 100 assholes to go here and just shout like, but.
Yeah. That's more what it feels like. It feels like that kind of thing, but also kind of like shocking, like sending Nazis into, some kind of like sacred area or something, kind of, like jerky things to do, but also like intimidating, like kind of scary as well.
So I think that would fit within that it's like an artificial Black Swan event, because you're just like, why the hell is this happening? Where did these more like Nazis come from to suddenly, like, why are they in the subway, or why are they in Safeway?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. More disorienting kind of.
Right.
And as somebody said, ass mob, that's,
I like that. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Ass mob. Flats mob? No. Ass mob. Yeah. Okay. We'll workshop it.
We'll work on that.
I've got one more question for you because I thought it was a good one that came in from Marie.
All right. Will Adam Schiff's own election chances be affected by his decision to ask Biden not to run? Okay. So I'm getting kind of a yes and no, because I feel like he at some point he's going to turn around, because I feel like he feels like it could. I don't think it will in the end, but I feel like he feels like it may. So he kind of changes his tune. That's kind of more what it feels like to me. It's more about him and him kind of being like, sorry, and then changing his tune. And because I feel like in the end he gets there, but I do feel like there's this kind of awkward and like kind of changing his tune again. And I had a few people have asked me, did you pick up on the shooting? Did you see the shooting? This is what I'll tell you. On last Friday with Debbie, and you can go look at it, I'd asked Debbie near the end if she was getting something about Trump's health, because I kept getting something about the middle of summer with Trump's health. And I kind of thought maybe the end of July, something like that. But I kept getting it, and I kept getting it, and I kept getting it. And as we were sitting there, and I said, I felt like he'd go to the hospital. I felt like he'd be okay, but I kept seeing it. And that the people around him would be concerned. That was the other thing that came across, like his family and people around him would be concerned. The other thing that came up, which when you read, you don't always remember what you say and stuff. And somebody wrote to me and said, you saw a Red Cross. And I said, oh, that's right. When I was reading on that, or when I was looking at it with Debbie, I said, I keep seeing a Red Cross, but I don't know what that means. It wasn't a symbol I normally got. It isn't a symbol I normally get. Now we know, right, what it means. It's a teachable moment. I guess I could guess that it would be an emergency or something that was a medical, but kind of affected maybe nationally or internationally. But I did get that. So that's what I got. And so not like there's going to be a shooter on Saturday. It wasn't like that. And my guides they wouldn't give me something like that in that way. Guides are very practical. And I think that they would think, well, what would you do with that information? Why would we want to freak everybody out? And at the same time, you kind of just have to sit with it and just know it. And then what? And then you can say, I got it right. I mean, what's the point, right? So they were giving us some kind of a heads up, and that's more like them. That's kind of what they do. But also throwing in that Red Cross, meaning like this is something out of the ordinary, because we're giving you a new symbol. So yeah, so that's what I got with that. So, and you can it's up there, so you can go look at it. But yeah, it was interesting. And I also got a new sign, a new thing for my vocabulary with my guide. So there you go. All right,
two things. One thing, Michelle Tom. Sorry if I said that wrong. I probably did, because I said it both ways. She said what happened on Saturday actually could be considered a Black Swan event, right? Which it would, out of nowhere,
right?
The assassination attempt.
Well, that's the context that Shelley was asking in, because she was saying that, yeah, and it couldn't. And like I said, I'm not getting the kind of things they will do or that they're thinking of. To me, it doesn't seem like that kind of thing, like mastermindy kind of, all the parts are in place. It doesn't feel like that. It feels more like get a group of jerky people together and go to the send Nazis to the Holocaust Museum. I mean, just jerky shit like that. Not really that, at least that's the way it's coming across to me. But yeah, it absolutely, I could be not picking that up. It could absolutely be something like that. I'm not sure what kind of coordination and what kind of would have to happen to do something like that. Who would have to be on board? But there are definitely weird things about the way that went down. And also his own reaction was weird to me. It's diabolical if that was his like instinct to be like, because the shooter could still be there and could be, you know what I mean? He didn't know.
I don't think anyone else would have done that, but it actually makes sense with everything that I know about Trump that he would, in that instant, his like little media mind, seeing himself being filmed, would do that. And actually,
I don't doubt it.
Oh yeah,
I don't doubt it. I'm just saying that is weird.
It is weird.
It's diabolical and it's weird. It's sociopathic-y, psychopathic-y.
I watched a commentator. He was talking to an ex-sniper, like a person who'd been trained as a sniper, and they were talking about it. And they showed the whole video, like a good 2 minutes before the shooting. And so I watched the whole thing again, kind of fresh. And it was very strange the way he sort of gathered himself and then, did the fight. But you could almost see the wheels turning in his head that this was a moment for him to do that. But so incredibly stupid, and so stupid of the Secret Service to allow him to do that, because second gunman, bang, right?
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, and even letting him do it as he was getting in the car, all of it was so dumb. And then he's crazy if that was his instinct. He's nuts.
Yeah.
Somebody said something about the female Secret Service agent. I did see her getting fired, so I don't know if that is going to happen. But I did see that. I just noticed somebody said something about her, and I did see her getting fired when I was sitting there.
There's also the head of the Secret Service, who's a woman as well, has come under a lot of flack.
Okay.
And she did one interview, and it wasn't great that she was kind of pushing off. She admitted that the ultimate responsibility was on the Secret Service, but she was almost like local law enforcement. That was their area to secure that.
Right.
We had 150-foot perimeter around
bucket.
Orange Mussolini. And last comment, then I'm going to vanish, is from Craig Dixon saying, "Damn, these Nazis aren't as funny as in a Mel Brooks movie." And
I know. I feel like they would sing and dance more. Well, maybe that will be a flash mob. You never know.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
All right. Thanks, Adam. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're a little over tonight, but I'll do just some name checking, and then I'm going to let you guys get on with your night. Thank you so much for hanging out, though. All right. So Colleen O'Brien, Shine the Light 2222. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Adam. Denise Lynn 67. And thank you anybody to all the moderators that were helping out tonight. Anybody that was helping to help Adam. It's always so much help when you guys just jump in and start helping out. So thank you, moderators. Denise Lynn 67, Mimi Rose, Michelle Tom, Betty Harper. Yeah, that's our homework for next week, is to figure out what this flash mob will be called. The ass mob. Okay, Betty Harper, Kieran Conroy, Roxanne M, Sparky, Sandra in Connecticut, Michelle, Rosemary P, Paulette Riddle, Leslie, Tangi 0906, Obsidian Iris, thanks so much. Stephanie Craig, B Sullivan, always blessed, thank you. Nancy Decker, Shine the Light 2222, thank you. Kelly H, Adam CA, Adam K, Adam CA. Oh, that's Adam, that's you. You changed your thing. You changed your thing on me. Frida Stanger, Lisa Berriesa, J Cat Lady, Elizabeth, Joe G, Anita Pays, thank you so much. Yes. Okay. Oh, Connie B, Karen Conroy, Suzanne Stevens, Craig Dixon. Thank you as always, Craig. Tina C, Janice Connett, Karen Conroy, B. Hansen, Sparky, Michelle, Roxanne M, Marilyn Bralier, Karen Louise. Okay, Karen Louise, Catherine L, Chris Power, and J Cat Lady, Maritza Cartagena, Paulette Riddle, Fleck, Marie Seton, thank you. MF, oh Rob, nice to see you. Thanks so much. Oh, guns at the RNC. Oh, interesting, Rob. Thank you for reminding me about that. T. Jones, Melinda, Deb Z, Karen Conroy, thank you. Lisa Berriesa, P. Fleck, thanks so much. Michelle, Janice Maxwell, Aisha, Hugger, Greeter, TK, thank you so much. And thank you for helping. Thanks, Karen, for helping. Carol Gallagher, Roxanne M. Thanks, you guys. Betty Harper, Constance Campbell, Tricia Fanzino, Paulette Riddle, Tammy Aldrich. Thank you again. Thank you. Michelle Hott, Colleen, Susie Buckingham, B. Handsome, Dreamweaver, Donna Newhouse, Suzanne Stevens, Melissa Miller, Lisa Berriesa, Frida Stinger, sorry if I'm repeating, B. Hansen, Spirit Rock, nice to see you guys, thank you so much. Lily D, Deb Z, Sweetie Darling Lulu, Bill Mondo, I'm repeating myself, Joe G, Melissa Miller, thank you so much, Cheryl McLemore, Denise Lynn 67, Amanda Carrion, Liz L, B. Hansen, Jan Burke, Pat BWI, Michelle, Layla at Integral Soul, thank you so much. Just visiting, Gil Gunselman, Lisa Berriesa, T. Jones, Dulanek. Thank you so much, guys. Amy Hughes, Deanne Scott, Liz L, Brenda Rendon, Sarah Marcus, Cynthia Pierce, Catherine L, Denise Lynn, oh, I keep saying that, she's 67. Thank you. Kimmy G, Emerald Green, Kelly Baum, Celtic Crone, Carol Lamb, Tina C, Minuet Maya, Jane Finley English, Liz L, Sue Feltree, Sleuth Jill, Roxy, I haven't seen you in a while, Roxy. Nice to see you. Leonore Bryant, Stephanie Craig, Susan Bame, Melissa A.H., Raquel Hartley, Obsidian Iris, Michelle Hott. Oh, Craig Dixon, thank you. You're a member for 30 months. Yay. Thank you, Clara. Oh, she's awesome. LW. I think I'm getting down to the end here. Noelle Douglas. Nice to see you. T. Jones. Nice to see you guys. Sandra Cabral, Jamie Johnson, Catherine L. Flash Mob. Oh my gosh. Stephanie Staley, Amanda Carrion, Celia Leiling, thank you. Chris Queen, thanks so much. Sweetie darling, Lulu, David Mackham, nice to see you. Daniel Spicer, thanks so much. Carol Michael, Lucretia Valdez, Linda Thompson, Gigi by the Sea, Ellen Burgess, Leonore Bryant, Dale White. New names here tonight. Old Rooster, the Diane Brewer. Nice to see you guys. Dan, artist painter. Thank you so much for hanging out. Shishi. Rebecca Davis. And I think that's all she wrote. Okay, thanks everybody. I'll see you guys Sunday. Hope to see you there. And yeah. Oh gosh, I missed all this. I hope I thanked everybody. Itinari, thank you guys for the super stickers. Obsidian Iris, Anita Pace, Neptune Blue 913, and Craig for being a member for 30 months. Yeah, we have our club. So if you want to check that out, just hit the join button on any video or go to my website, intuitiveview.com. All right, everyone, have a good night. Bye.